I'm gassing up. It's about 6 o'clock or so. I'm gonna head for Anchorage. Hopefully get there and without any hassle. And we'll see what the road has in store for us. So as we started this fishing charter, we've got to get licensed and credentialed. Chris, of course, is already licensed and credentialed to drive, I think, a battleship. Something like that. But Peyton and I got to get all our paperwork. The second thing is that in order to guide on the Kenai River, this specific river, you have to take a specific class. Nowhere else in Alaska do you have to take a class to guide on a particular river, but for the Kenai, that's the case. So it's a 5-day course, and they bring in biologists and botanists and local native culture and rangers and law enforcement and tax people and all those important things you need to know. 5 days of probably feeding from a fire hose. We're supposed to take some kind of a written exam and then sit before an oral board afterwards. I don't know what that's going to be. Maybe that's a pizza party. I'm not sure. But we're going to find out. We'll see what happens. There's not much to film really with PowerPoint presentations. But if you'd like more information on this course, I put together a quick little assessment of my thoughts. And you can click on it right here and take a look at that video. Well, we just completed our Kenai River Guide class. Chris Homer got the high score of the class. They gave him a fancy water bottle, and then Chris said, "No, I got something to piss in."
It was useful equipment for the boat. That's what I meant.
Peyton graduated. Good job, Peyton. Yeah, we got. Anita came and did some cooking and cleaning for us and helping out along the way, watching the dog while we were in class. Yep. And we are now headed back to Anchorage. So we got a 3.5-hour drive or so, and we're going to have a slumber party tonight and drop these guys all off to airport tomorrow, and we'll be coming home. Yep. Well, on our way to drop off Chris and Anita and Peyton at the airport, the fuel filter started goofing up again. I just put one in like 3 days ago. So I think I pumped bad gas. The last time I dumped that fuel filter, it looked like chocolate milk coming out of it. I think I just got the bottom of somebody's gas tank when I filled my truck. So we stopped and picked one up. I'm going to try and climb under the truck real quick in the snow and the slush and swap out the fuel filter again so we can get home. That's what we're fixing right there. We're going to pull that out and put another one in. I just did this 3 days ago. Got one. Yeah. Dripping all over me. It's all over me.
See that?
All over my face. Almost got my mouth. You're supposed to like depressurize the system, but that's overrated. It's all running down in my armpit. No, it's really difficult to get on. And it's never easy. So let's see what happens. I'm guessing this is not my problem because, oh, look, I got my hat on backwards like a cool guy. That's just my skin falling off. We, of course, are still taking Chris and Peyton to the airport and stayed at one of Chris's buddy's place. And he happened to have the snow machine that we were thinking of picking up for Rebecca. We went riding the other day, and all she saw was the back of our friend's head, and so well, she's too light to throw around a full-size sled. So well, let's find one of these younger, smaller sleds, and we pull in, and this guy's got one in his garage. So this is Rebecca's first choice at riding the machine. There's no reverse. Okay.
Camera. I got myself stuck. Yeah, I know.
Well, it's very lightweight and easy to manipulate when she gets it stuck, so that's a good thing. Rebecca has the heart of a lion and the body of a China doll. There you go. That's good. That's good. Give it gas. There you go. Yeah, and it's light, so every time she gets stuck, which will probably never happen. If I step on it, it just doesn't go anywhere. It acts like a fuel problem, no check engine light, could be coil packs. You know what they say in the YouTube world, drop a comment in the box below, something like that, if you know what the problem is, because I don't right now.
Well, I think it's the bumps, and here's why I think that, because Larry is frozen in time.
Oh, Larry's stuck.
Larry's stuck.
There we go. Oh, you broke his neck.
No, I didn't break his neck. He's
There we go.
See? See? It's the bumps, right, Larry? Yeah.
So I believe this is the beginning of spring breakup. And what you're looking at is the ice, the frozen lake, but it's started to melt on the top. So those are just pockets of water, but you could still walk across it if you needed to. But it's the beginning of spring breakup. I love how the reflection bounces off of that. Just beautiful.
It is just gorgeous, and you start to see the, not right in this particular area, where you see the greenish turquoise color water come through where the glacier fed water is coming off. Super pretty. Spring breakup is when the ice is breaking up, not to be confused with people breaking up, although sometimes that happens after people have been together all winter long. I've heard. So Brian thinks he figured out what the problem is.
Yeah, so fuel pump. And when you first turn the key on, the fuel pump turns on and it pressurizes the rail. And so when we're driving along, then it acts like there's no fuel. And if I put it in neutral and I just turn the key off and turn it on to the first set, it pressurizes the rail. Turn it off, do it again. It kind of triple pressurizes it. Then you start the truck, put it back in drive, and it takes off great. And you do that while you're driving down the road. So what do you think, Larry? Yeah.
Yeah.
Larry knew all along, we just didn't ask him. This happened to us when we bought this truck. We bought it in Seattle, drove it back. I think I may have told that story already. Drove it back, dropped it off the airport. My buddies picked it up. They drove it for a day and it broke. It was the fuel pump. We had to change that out. I think we got some pictures of that somewhere.
Yeah, I broke one, and then so I boiled them for about 15 minutes, and they go back to this nice soft squishy phase, and they're cold right now. And then if you take this little metal disc and you just snap it like this, kind of squeeze it, it creates a chemical reaction, and then that gets warm like that, and then you stick it in your pocket or your shoes or your mittens or whatever you might want, and then it gets warm and it stays that way for about 2 hours.
129, 130 degrees.
Yeah, and that lasts for about 2 hours. Super handy to have.
The new fuel pump. Come on. There you go. longest part of changing the fuel pump was getting the Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh, see the crud floating around in the bottom of the tank there. Lots of crud. Actually, it looks like there's some water in there also. Yeah, you see that? Look right there. See how there's a difference in color? That's water.
How do you get water in your tank?
Condensation. You see how there's like two different liquids? That bottom liquid is water. The fuel sits on top of the water. So when the fuel pump is down in the bottom, it's sucking water. It's an Alaska thing for sure. Quality of the fuel you get. Condensation in the tanks. It's an issue. This ring broke and I tried to fix it back together with staples. So you heat up the staple and you press it into the plastic, and it sort of worked, but as we tighten this down, the pressure pulled it apart. Got a new piece. Hopefully that goes on without breaking.
I think this camera makes my nose look big. Do I have a big nose? Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, do not do what Brian is doing and work under a vehicle without safety glasses.
A friend of mine asked me to babysit her sourdough. Let's go check on it. So I just took this out of the fridge. All we have to do is open this up and vent it just a little bit. And I'm gonna set it over here just at room temperature. We're gonna let it come to room temp. It takes a couple hours. And then later we'll mix in some flour and milk, and then we'll let it proof with a heating pad around it for about 8 hours. Okay, so our sourdough starter has come to room temperature. So we are going to warm the milk for 20 seconds in the microwave per the directions. This has been in the refrigerator. This is non-fat milk. And we want to use non-fat milk because the extra fat in the milk makes the sourdough too creamy. So we want to do about 20 seconds in the microwave. And the bowl was clean when we started, but I'm just gonna make sure that I have that out real quick here. All right, so we've got our warmed milk here, and we're gonna add flour to our room temperature. The dog always has to drink water when we're filming. It's great. So we've got our room temperature mixture here. Looks like I might need a little something extra to get that out. So hold on a second here.
It never fails. As soon as we start filming, the dog's got to come drink water.
She's a very thirsty dog. She wants to be part of the action. So you kind of want to be gentle with anything that you're working with that has live cultures or yeast or anything, just because it is alive. So you don't want to be too vigorous with it. So we're not gonna shake it too much, but yeah. All right, and then this is just all-purpose flour. I'm not sure how much it is. I think it looks like about a half a cup. She sent me exactly how much I needed, so dump that in there. And we're just gonna kind of fold it in. So, and this is called Feeding Your Sourdough Starter. And I will say that our friend brought us a loaf of sourdough made from this starter, and it was delicious. It tasted almost exactly like San Francisco sourdough, which we haven't had since we've been in San Francisco, so I will attest that this sourdough starter is a good one for sure. So I think we're pretty well mixed here. And my hands were clean when I started, so I'm gonna scrape that off. And then we're gonna put the plastic wrap back on the top. And then what we do is we put the towel over it, like so. And we're going to move it over here to the counter so that we can plug it in. We're going to clip the heating pad around the bowl like this. Keep it nice and cozy so that it gets up to temperature. This is just a standard heating pad. And we're going to let it proof, which means that it's just basically staying at that nice, warm, cozy temperature for about 8 hours. So that is the sourdough starter process. And that's that.
Thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate it. Please tell your friends, and we'll see you next week.